Welcome back to this 001 Game Creator video tutorial series, where we'll be continuing to cover how to create your very own role-playing game from start to finish using the built-in action RPG template. In this second tutorial, we'll be creating our very first quest, learning how to connect two maps together, changing the player's name, as well as placing items, and changing how the player will interact and equip them. First, let's start by creating a new map to set up our first quest. With the Maps tab selected, in the bottom left corner of the screen, click on the New button to open the Map Properties window. Use the Display Name and Scripting ID text boxes to give your map an appropriate name. I'll name mine Item Map. Set the map's dimensions to 25 by 20 by 5, and then set the right connection to My First Map. Doing this will allow us to connect the two maps together. However, we also need to set up our first map in order for this to work properly. Click OK to close the Map Properties window, and then right-click My First Map from the Maps panel and select Properties from the drop-down menu. Now set the left connection to Item Map, and click OK to close the window. Now we're going to place an item that will be used in our first quest. Select Item Map from the Maps panel to return to it, then click on the Item Pickup icon, move your mouse cursor over your map, and left-click to place it. Click on the Item button and select Potion from the Pick Item Magic window. Then set the return value to 0 seconds. This will ensure that the item won't respawn after the player has picked it up. To better conceal the item from the player's view, select the Lower Objects tab and use the Environment tileset to place down several trees. Since this item is going to be retrieved as part of our quest, we don't want it to just be out in the open. Now it's time to make our first quest. Select My First Map from the Maps panel, and with the pointer tool selected, double-click on the NPC inside the building. Click on the Edit Active Variables button, and then click on the Add to Active Variables button to create a new active variable. Name the variable Item Quest, and leave the default value as 0. Click on the cross to close the Active Variables window, and then double-click the Talk to/Activated trigger to open the script editor. Double-click the Comparison Branch event from the Quick Access panel to the right. For the Expression text box, click on the Small Use Value button, and double-click Active Variable from the top of the list. Select this for the actor, and then select your Item Quest active variable at the bottom. Leave the operator and value as they are. Now click on the Expand Events button at the bottom, and type Item into the search box to help narrow down the list of events. Then double-click on the Item Held Branch event, click on the Player Has Item button, and select the Potion. Next, double-click on the Message Box event from the Quick Access panel, and type an appropriate message that thanks the player for retrieving the item. Click on the Expand Events button a second time, and search for Item again, but this time, double-click on the Add/Remove Item event instead. Set the actor to Main, and then click on the Number of Items button to set the potion as the item. Then set the operator to Subtract, so that one potion will be removed from the player's inventory. Now we'll give the player a monetary reward for helping the NPC. To do this, click on the Expand Events button and type Money into the search box. Then double-click on the Change Money event under the Current Player/Party category. Then set the amount of money to 200. Click on the Expand Events button again, and this time type Variable into the search box. Double-click the Active Variable Operation event, select this for the actor, and then Item Quest for the active variable. Then set the value to 1. This will let the game know that the quest has been completed, so that the NPC doesn't give the player the same quest over and over again. Next, we'll get our NPC to ask the player their name, and say it back to them. To do this, click on the Expand Events button, type Name into the search box, and then double-click on the Allow Name Change event. Select Hero for the member, and then type an appropriate message that asks the player for their name. Then add a Message Box event, and type an appropriate message that comments on the player's name. You can add the player's name to the message itself by clicking on the Small Use Value button in the top right, typing Name into the search box, and then double-clicking Display Name from the Main Party/Game section. Select Hero like before, and then click OK. Don't worry about how it appears in the Message Box event, as that long line of text will be swapped out for the player's name when you actually play the game. Before we can finish this quest, we first need to tell the player about it. With the Item Held Branch event selected, add another Message Box event, and type an appropriate message that asks the player to help find an item. Feel free to give the player a hint by telling them where to look. Lastly, with the Comparison Branch event selected, add one more Message Box event, and type an appropriate message that lets the player know they've already completed the quest. You can use the player's name again to help add a touch of personality. You've now successfully finished your first quest. Try testing your game to see it working in action. Before we conclude this tutorial, there's one last thing we're going to look at, and that's auto-equipping a weapon. Click on the Item Pickup icon, move your mouse cursor over your map, and left-click to place it. Select the sword from the Equipment folder, and then set the return value to 0. Now click on the System Triggers button along the main toolbar and double-click on the Pickup/Treasure Chest trigger to open the script editor. Double-click on the Item and Ammo subscript to open it, and then right-click on the line underneath the Add/Remove Item event to cut the connection. Add a Comparison Branch event, and for the expression, click on the Small Use Value button, type Equip into the search box, and then double-click on the Area of Equipment Use Value. Click on the Small Use Value button a second time, and this time double-click Item Name from the Parameter Variables list at the top. Then select Weapon as the value. Now click on the Expand Events button and type Item into the search box. Double-click on the Equip Item event, set the actor to Main, the Area of Equipment to Weapon, and for the equipment, click on the Small Use Value button and double-click Item Name from the Parameter Variables list. Then make sure you connect the Equip Item event and the right node of the Comparison Branch event to the Item Count Comparison Branch so that the rest of the script continues running as usual. Now when you test your game and walk over the sword, the item will be automatically equipped and ready for use, instead of requiring the player to equip it manually. Incidentally, if you want to change or remove the text that pops up in the bottom left corner of the screen whenever the player picks up an item, you can do so by editing or deleting the Display Log Text event that's connected to the right node of the Treasure Chest Condition Branch event in the same trigger where you set up the automatic weapon equip script. In the next tutorial, we'll be setting up Gamepad Controls, learning how to modify the player's appearance and attributes, as well as creating a cinematic cutscene with enemies to fight.